The following is a great way to decompress or take pressure out of your hip joints. So we're going to teach you how to take the ball of the hip and the socket of the hip and create space between the two. So you're going to start in a lunge position. So we're going to decompress the right hip to start. So you're going to be standing tall or leaning tall on that right leg. And you're going to think of flattening your spine. So our spine naturally has these curves that we want to try and flatten so that it pulls us up towards the ceiling. So you're going to tuck your tailbone under, so you're going to take the curve out of your low back. Then you're going to pull your chest forward, take the curve out of your middle back, and you're going to tuck your chin back, take the curve out of your neck. Your hands are going to be placed out in front of you like you're stopping someone. Rotate the arm bones so your fingertips point towards the floor. And you're going to keep that tall position. So think of a string pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling and a string pulling your tailbone down towards the floor. And you're essentially trying to take pressure out of the hip. So the ball of the hips coming into the socket, you're pulling the socket off the ball of the hip. So you're in this position and you're tall, tailbone tucked under, chest forward, chin back, and breathe. You want to hold this position for about 1 minute. So if you take 10 nice deep breaths, with every breath, you're trying to keep the spine flat, tailbone tucked under, chest forward, chin back. The crown of your head's being pulled up towards the ceiling. Your arms are staying out in front of you. Fingertips stay pointed down towards the floor. Pull your fingers towards you. It's like you're pushing the palms away from your body, fingers towards you. It's very challenging just to hold this position. So to add the breath, thinking of decompressing the pelvis that's sitting on the hip. Keep going until you reach your maximum. Once you've had enough and you can't hold the position, you slowly come out of it. If you can keep going, you make it to 10 breaths. And when you're done, slow to come out of the pose so that your body doesn't go into protective mode and start to contract muscles. Draw your other leg back. And now you can sit, or you can kneel, or you could be on the floor or on a chair. You're going to take a moment to relax and bring the awareness from your mind to your hip, and you're going to try and release tension in there. So you're thinking of space between the ball and the socket of the hip. And you're trying to think of relaxing everything around the ball and the socket so that it can have as much room, as much space as possible. And when you feel you've relaxed as much as you can, you move on to the other side. This is step 1 of 2. So another way to take pressure out of the hip is it's very similar, but you're going, so if I'm still working on my right hip, I'm going to step off to the side with my right leg. So now I'm on my left leg, but I'm still working on the right. So we're trying to pull the hip away from the socket. So you're going to start in this position. You're going to flatten your spine, tuck the tail under, chest forward, chin back. There's a string pulling you tall. Arms out in front of you in the stop position. Rotate your arm bones, fingers point to the floor. And now you're thinking of drawing your right knee away from your body, so your body stays still over your left leg, but you're pulling your knee away from you, so you're trying to create space into the hip joint. And then once you're in position and you're managing or you're tolerating, you're going to breathe. 10 deep breaths. Every time you inhale, it'll further flatten your spine. It'll create a tractioning, which will help create space in that hip joint. The body is positioned in such a way that every breath you take, it really targets the area that you're working. These stretches were designed by a French osteopath in France, Mr. Guy Voyer. And the whole purpose of the stretches is to create space, create joint space. And if lacking joint space is an issue that connects with you, or that you've been told that your joint space has been limited, or you're having hip pain, or you're struggling with tight hips all the time, this typically is an excellent way to get rid of tension. And you'll know right away, because after doing these stretches 2 to 3 times, usually people find a huge benefit already. So if you've done these multiple times and you haven't felt the benefit, then maybe something else is the cause of your hip pain or your hip tightness. After your 10 breaths, or as many as you're comfortable doing, you relax your arms and you come back into kneeling or sitting, whatever position you can get into, where you can close your eyes. Again, bring your awareness into the hip joint and see how well you can relax those tissues. Once you feel you've relaxed the hip as much as you can, you move on to the other side, or you're done. Excellent work.